Breaking. U.S. travel warning issued for Cambodia and Thailand. Border conflict explained.
Imagine planning your dream vacation, only to discover that the destination you've been eyeing could put you in the middle of a dangerous international conflict. That's exactly what American travelers are now facing as the U.S. government issues an urgent travel warning for two popular Southeast Asian nations, Cambodia and Thailand. This advisory comes amid escalating tensions along their shared border, where clashes have already claimed at least 32 lives and displaced tens of thousands of people. But here's where it gets even more alarming. The situation isn't just about territorial disputes. It involves complex geopolitical dynamics and allegations of criminal networks operating across borders. So, should you be worried? Let's break it down. On Friday, the U.S. State Department took action by raising its travel advisory levels for both Cambodia and Thailand. For those unfamiliar with how these advisories work, they range from level 1, exercise normal precautions, to level 4, do not travel. In this case, the advisory was bumped up to level 2, urging caution due to civil unrest. However, there's a catch. Within 50 kilometers, about 30 miles, of the Thai-Cambodian border, the advisory jumps straight to level 4, the highest possible warning. Why such a drastic measure? Reports indicate ongoing fighting between military forces, including rocket and artillery exchanges, which have resulted in civilian casualties. Moreover, the U.S. government has admitted it will face significant challenges in providing emergency assistance to Americans in these areas due to the intensity of the armed conflict. But why is this happening now? To understand the root cause, we need to look back decades. The border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia stretches back to colonial times, when France drew the boundary during its nearly century-long rule over Cambodia until 1953. Yet, according to Morgan Stark, an expert from the Geopolitical and Cyber Risk Consultancy, SRM, something new has emerged this time around. Stark explained to Newsweek that Thai authorities recently conducted coordinated raids at 19 locations near the border in an effort to dismantle organized scam networks allegedly extending into Thailand from Cambodia. These networks reportedly generate substantial revenue, some of which may fund the Cambodian government, a claim that remains unverified, but is widely speculated among informed observers on the ground. And this is the part most people miss. While the immediate trigger for the violence appears to be a landmine explosion that injured 5 Thai soldiers earlier this week, deeper tensions simmer beneath the surface. Both sides are playing fingers, accusing each other of firing the first shots. Thailand claimed Cambodia violated a prior agreement by advancing toward a historic Khmer Hindu temple near the border, while Cambodia accuses Thailand of initiating hostilities using drones to surveil its troops. Meanwhile, over 81,000 people, more than 58,000 in Thailand and 23,000 in Cambodia, have fled their homes, seeking refuge in temporary shelters. So what's next for these embattled neighbors? Diplomacy seems to be the only viable path forward. Both countries have appealed for calm and called on one another to restart negotiations. Internationally, efforts are underway to mediate the crisis. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency session last Friday, and Malaysia, currently chairing the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, offered to facilitate talks. Still, tensions remain high, with Cambodia's defense ministry accusing Thailand of launching a deliberate, unprovoked, and unlawful military attack, while Thailand's ambassador to the UN, Chur Chai Thayavadit, urged Cambodia to halt all acts of aggression and return to dialogue. As Morgan Stark pointed out, underlying domestic politics also play a role. Ongoing friction between Thailand's civilian government and its military adds another layer of complexity to the dispute. Could this internal dynamic influence how the conflict unfolds? It's a question worth pondering and debating. Now, let's turn it over to you. Do you think the U.S. travel warning is justified given the circumstances? Should neighboring countries like Malaysia take a stronger stance in mediating the conflict? Or do you believe external intervention might do more harm than good? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective.
Cambodia and Thailand border conflict escalates. Ceasefire called amid rising death toll. In a dramatic turn of events, Cambodia has urgently called for a ceasefire with Thailand as the death toll from ongoing border skirmishes continues to rise. Reports indicate that over 30 individuals, including innocent civilians, have lost their lives amid these violent clashes. Chia Kao,
Cambodia's ambassador to the United Nations emphasized the need for an unconditional truce, expressing a strong desire for a peaceful resolution to the escalating conflict. This plea for peace comes as tensions have reached a boiling point, with both nations accusing each other of initiating hostilities. On the other side, Thailand's foreign minister, Mao Sangiampongsa, stated that for any ceasefire discussions to advance, Cambodia must demonstrate genuine sincerity in its commitment to ending the conflict. The situation has become increasingly dire, with at least 32 fatalities reported, comprising both military personnel and civilians, and nearly 200,000 individuals displaced as a result of the violence. The fighting has persisted for a third consecutive day, with Thailand's military alleging that Cambodian forces had launched attacks in new coastal areas in the south, only to be repelled by the Thai Navy. Earlier reports indicated that clashes were occurring in Thailand's provinces of Surin, Ubon Ratchathani, and Sri Suket, all of which border Cambodia. In response to the escalating violence, Thailand has declared martial law in 8 districts adjacent to Cambodia. Thai officials have reported that since the onset of the conflict on Thursday, 19 individuals, 13 civilians, and 6 soldiers have been killed within their borders. Additionally, nearly 140,000 people have been evacuated from their homes to ensure their safety. Meanwhile, Cambodia's defense ministry has confirmed 13 fatalities, including 8 civilians and 5 soldiers, and noted that over 35,000 people have fled their residences due to the fighting. Phumtham Wechayachai, Thailand's acting prime minister, issued a stark warning on Friday, suggesting that the ongoing clashes could escalate into a full-blown war. He'd highlighted that the conflict has now involved heavy weaponry and has spread to 12 different locations along the border. In a tit-for-tat exchange, Thailand has accused Cambodia of targeting civilian areas with artillery fire, prompting the evacuation of all villages within the range of the rockets. Conversely, Cambodia has alleged that Thailand is employing cluster munitions, which are internationally banned due to their indiscriminate impact on civilian populations. As of now, Thailand has not publicly addressed these serious allegations. Despite the escalating violence, Thailand's foreign minister asserted to Reuters that there is no need for third-party mediation, even as global leaders are calling for an immediate ceasefire. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who currently chairs the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN, has offered to mediate discussions between the two nations. The United States has also joined the chorus of voices urging for an immediate cessation of hostilities, protection of civilians, and a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The roots of this dispute can be traced back over a century, stemming from the delineation of borders following the French colonial rule in Cambodia. Over the year, sporadic clashes have resulted in casualties on both sides, but the current tensions had escalated significantly since May, when a Cambodian soldier was killed in a confrontation, marking a low point in bilateral relations that has not been seen in over a decade. But here's where it gets controversial. As both nations continue to blame each other for the outbreak of violence, the question remains, what will it take for a lasting peace to be achieved? Are both sides truly committed to resolving their differences? Or are they merely playing a dangerous game that could lead to further bloodshed? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.
Escalating tensions. Thailand-Cambodia border conflict explained. When two neighbors turn into adversaries, the consequences can be catastrophic. Imagine a border dispute that has simmered for decades, suddenly erupting into full-scale violence, displacing thousands and claiming lives. That's exactly what's happening right now between Thailand and Cambodia. But here's where it gets controversial. Both nations are accusing each other of unprovoked attacks while simultaneously calling for peace. And this is the part most people miss. The heart of the conflict isn't just about territory. It's tied to ancient temples and unresolved historical grievances. So what's really going on? Let's break it down. The fighting between Thailand and Cambodia has stretched into its 3rd day, with fresh clashes reported in unexpected locations. Over 30 people have been killed, and more than 130,000 civilians are now refugees in their own homes. The latest violence flared up in the Thai coastal province of Trat and Cambodia's Persat province, creating a new front over 100 kilometers away from previous battle zones.
This shift is alarming because it suggests the conflict is no longer confined to the most contested areas, but spreading like wildfire. At the center of the chaos are the Tamon Tom and Preah temples, landmarks steeped in history and symbolism. The International Court of Justice ruled in 1962 that Preah belonged to Cambodia, but tensions spiked again in 2008 when Cambodia sought UNESCO World Heritage status for the site. Thailand refused to recognize the court's authority then, and it still prefers bilateral negotiations today. Now, both sides are digging in, with Thailand accusing Cambodia of planting landmines and Cambodia claiming Thailand launched an unprovoked attack. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who chairs the ASEAN bloc, is trying to broker peace. His ceasefire proposal has been backed by Cambodia, but met with cautious approval from Thailand. Anwar insists he'll personally intervene if necessary, but the reality on the ground tells a different story. Artillery fire still echoes across the border, and displaced families are scrambling for shelter. In Ceasefire, Thailand, a university campus has become a makeshift refugee camp, housing over 5,000 people. One woman, Samrong Kamduang, fled her farm near the border after hearing the terrifying sounds of shelling. Her husband stayed behind to protect their livestock, and now she's cut off from him completely. "I don't know what's happening back there," she said, her voice trembling. The diplomatic fallout is equally intense. Thailand's ambassador to the UN accused Cambodia of planting landmines and launching attacks, while Cambodia's defense ministry called Thailand's actions unlawful aggression. Both nations are doubling down, with Thailand insisting on bilateral talks and Cambodia demanding international condemnation. This standoff raises a critical question. Can a region known for its economic cooperation now turn to outside powers for help? Or will pride and history prevent a resolution? Here's the twist. The landmine claims are unverified, and neither side has provided concrete evidence. Is this a case of mutual escalation? Or are both sides using fear-mongering to justify their actions? The truth likely lies somewhere in between. As the world watches, one thing is clear. This isn't just a territorial spat. It's a test of ASEAN's ability to mediate, a clash of historical narratives, and a humanitarian crisis waiting to spiral further. What do you think? Are the landmines real? Or is this another layer of propaganda? Share your thoughts below. We want to hear your perspective on this complex and deeply emotional conflict.